All right, so hopefully those last two lessons were a good review of classes and what we've done kind of up to this point. Sans the array stuff, we haven't talked about, reviewed the array stuff yet, but given that we had 2 weeks off, I thought that would be a good introduction before we jumped into the Pong project, which doesn't really use any arrays. So you're all right there, but we will review array stuff soon enough. Let's talk about Pong because some people wanted to make Pong, and I thought actually that was a really good idea and a really good application of what we've done so far, and helps us look forward to some of the things we're going to do in data structures in the upcoming weeks. Okay, so let's first think about Pong. Have any of you played Pong? Can I get Pong on my phone here? Pong. This is this is me not preparing. Pong. Can I just see a video of Pong? Yeah, alright. This is the original Pong. Can you see that? So you see the balls going back and forth, and that's the paddle, and there's another paddle, and I probably got really loud. And so he hits the ball. I know there's a glare. But you get the idea, right? These paddles hit the ball. Can I full screen it? All right. Oh, man alive. God, the sound is beautiful. Oh my God. This is like a thing that would totally happen in Pong too. You can actually, well, we're not going to worry about direction stuff right now, but we'll get there. Okay, you get the idea. So what's going on? Well, Pong is going to have, in addition to the most annoying sound effect you've ever heard in a video game, it's going to have, well, we're going to have our screen, okay? And the way we're going to do it, it didn't look like it because the background's black on that, but the paddles are on either side of this thing. And since the dimensions of that are like CRT TV, it was square dimensions. So they look like the paddles are really close together. In our case, we can spread the paddles apart by making this more of a rectangular level. Okay? And we can talk about what that entails. But we have one paddle here. Okay? And we have another paddle here. And we have a ball. And we might have some sort of score here. That might be extra credit thing for right now. No, actually, we could do a score. It doesn't matter. Okay, so there's some things to consider here, and we won't consider all of them right now. The only thing we'll consider is where does this ball bounce off of? And in Pong, I'm going to erase these for right now. In Pong, the ball bounces off paddles and the top and bottom wall. So those are the only things the ball bounces off of. It won't bounce off the right wall and won't bounce off the left wall. In fact, if it gets past this paddle, it's a point for this player, and if it gets past this paddle, it's a point for this player. Okay? And so you're playing a game of tennis. All right. Now there's some slight differences in the way the ball bounces, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We'll assume the ball bounces the way it would off of this wall. So the only time the ball bounces horizontally is off paddles. Okay. And here are what we're going to have as our requirements. So one, we want to have a ball class. Okay. Two, we're going to have something called an abstract paddle class. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, that sounds hard. But actually, it's going to make your life a lot easier. And it's a good introduction to inheritance. Okay, and so we'll go over that. Don't get scared by that right now. We will go over that as part of this project. Three, we're going to have the ball start in the center and move randomly. Okay. So it'll move randomly in some direction, right? It can move anywhere. Okay. And then for and we're implied in this is that the two paddles will inherit from this, and we'll go into that from this class. There's going to be a CPU paddle and there's going to be a user paddle, and the user paddle will be controlled. So user paddle controlled with mouse, okay, and 5 CPU paddle moves automatically. Okay, so the CPU paddle will move automatically, and then we can play with it. We're gonna initially make it so the CPU can't be defeated, and then we'll update it. If you want to update it, you can go ahead and update it to try to make it so that it can be defeated, which is probably a good idea if you want an actual playable game. But none of these things are a big deal. The big deal is putting this all together to make something that's a facsimile of a Pong game. So like the score, you know, whatever. I'm confident you could either score if you want. If the CPU is unbeatable, that's okay for right now. All right. So the sixth requirement is that the ball only collides off top and bottom walls and left and right paddle. Okay, so it only collides off top and bottom walls and left and right paddle. All right, and how does that happen? Well, we're gonna have to figure that out. Okay, and then finally, if the ball gets past the left and or right wall, it resets in the center. Okay, and has a new random initial velocity. Resets and random velocity. Okay. I know it says R velocity, but you can say random velocity. All right, so that's the idea behind what we want to do here. So we are going to step by step build up this Pong game, and it shouldn't be too bad, but you might learn a thing or two along the way, and I think that'll be pretty satisfying. See you next video.